right now.
I said we need a code word, like code word.
We are green.
Pineapple.
I was gonna say like T-Rex.
Okay.
T-Rex.
Oh, yeah,
T-Rex means we're recording.
Yeah, that means we are live streaming right now. T-Rex.
So we're
T-Rex.
officially T-Rex.
T-Rex.
We're officially T-Rex.
Exactly, Quinn. Thank you.
I love it.
No, she meant that. We are officially T-Rex. That was official.
That was Scott's nickname in high school.
T-Rex.
T-Rex because of his short arms.
Because I had tiny arms.
Oh, thanks, God. Thanks.
Oh,
That's okay.
so sad.
I tip over a lot. I'm bottom heavy.
You're bottom.
I am also bottom heavy, and it's not fun.
All right. Are we ready, Jeff?
Yeah,
are we
he
good?
said-
Yeah, no,
All
we're
right, cool.
T-Rex.
Yeah,
we're
we're
T-Rex
T-Rex,
right
bro.
now.
Oh, you're right. You said that.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
God
What?
damn it. You guys got me started.
Yeah,
I
this is
should have never
great.
walked around with you.
All
I
right,
should have just
all right.
came in cold.
No,
All right,
I'm
Scott.
glad you did. You really loosened me up a little bit on that walk.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, he told me we can smoke weed. We can do whatever we want.
You do whatever you want.
I know. I didn't bring the weed, but I should have. I would have known.
Shoulda.
It's not too late.
It's not, all right, I'll be right back. No. I'll be right back.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Almost pulled that off.
Shut up. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Grit City Podcast. I am Justin.
I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
Yeah, and we've got some awesome people with us, and we'll get to them in a second. Introduce them into the world of women's rugby. I am stoked for this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed too.
Hey.
Excited.
Thank you guys so much for listening to us. If you guys, well, I mean, if you're listening, you probably know that you can find us at gritcitypodcast.com.
You should.
You can also find us on all social media just by searching for Grit City Podcast. But in addition to that, I mean, if you just click on the little links that we have on all of the descriptions done by Scott's awesome wife, Becca.
Just touch the picture in your
His pretty
podcast
wife,
player.
Becca.
Yeah,
Shut
yeah.
your mouth, Jeff.
Uh-oh, now it's getting weird in here. I know, yeah. Sorry, guys. It's going to get real weird up in this. And we have patreon.com/Grit City Podcast
Yep.
where people can help us out as little as $4 a month. It helps us buy equipment and get some awesome people out on the show and do some live events that we're going to want to be doing in the future.
Like the boot to boot.
Yeah, the boot to boot where Scott broke his knee.
Yeah, that's where I broke my knee.
Yeah, he broke his knee on that. So, yeah, he's not in rugby shape right now, but we're working on it.
It's okay. Neither am I. It's okay.
It's a slow road to hoe when it comes with the recovery on that, and but we'll get you back on that.
Yeah, whatever.
And,
T-shirts.
T-shirts available at different tiers. You can get the cool Grit City Podcast T-shirt done by the Shroom Brothers. They've done our logo with for the T-shirts, and then also we colorized that and made that fancy for diecutstickers.com, which made a lot of stuff happen in terms of getting our stickers out there. We showed them off at the McKinley Street Fair.
We did. We gave them away.
Yeah, which was cool, which was amazing.
It's always fun, man. Well, it's nice when you go out around Tacoma and people actually recognize you. They're like, "Oh, you're the Good City Podcast," and
I
you're
know,
like,
that
"Yeah,
happens.
have some fucking stickers."
Yeah, stickers, stick them on stuff, and just like don't stick them on like businesses or other people's cars.
Or do, but don't blame me.
Yeah, don't blame us on that.
I just usually tell them I'm sorry when they say when she's on
Just
the
write
Good
it
City
first
Podcast.
thing. You're like, "Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
very
the Good
sorry.
City Podcast."
Let's get some introductions done with our guests today from the Tacoma Sirens, which is the women's rugby team. Please introduce each of yourselves. Melody, we'll start on your side.
Well, I'm Melody.
Oh, you're gonna have to get closer to that.
Yeah,
Put
get
that
closer
mic
to the mic
right in front of your face.
Yep.
Yep.
Whew.
Yep.
All right, I
There you
am
go.
Melody.
There we go.
Melody with the Tacoma Sirens. I'm a lock.
Nope, put that right up in your. Yep,
It's
right
gonna have
up.
to just
yeah, it's gonna
stay
be right
there.
here.
The whole
really
time.
Like in your
intense when
face.
you just have it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, no, it's cool.
It's
I'll
like
just
you're
get
being
used to it.
recorded and everything.
I know. It's like I'm doing what I'm here to do. All right, I'm Melody.
There
I'm
you
a
go.
lock. Play for the Tacoma Sirens.
Now, do you have a specific position? We're kind of stupid when it comes to rugby, so we're probably going to get learned by you guys. Hopefully, do you have a position that you play, or are you all over the place, or is it just? Do you have a specific position?
Yeah, my position is lock.
Okay,
That-
okay,
that-
so
that-
the
that
lock-
was- that
okay,
was
okay,
my position.
Okay, this shows how much that we do
Yeah.
not know about the sport of rugby.
That's okay. He just asked me about hurling in the hallway, and I had nothing to do with it. So I had nothing about it. So it's okay if you don't know. I'm a lock. Your number on your back of your jersey, it kind of like goes with whatever position you are.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you see a number 5, they're a lock.
Oh.
I'm a number 5. I'm a
Wow,
lock.
nice.
So that's that.
Nice.
Awesome. Next up,
Hi, my name's Kelsey Tafuna, and I have been playing with the Sirens since 2014, and I've been playing the sport since 2008. So this is like my 11th season. Numbers
moly.
aren't my strong suit, but
Nice.
and I play the position of 8-man, which I actually have one of our team's old jerseys that we auctioned off.
Cool.
And so I have an 8 on my back.
Nice.
So yeah.
And then we've got Monica with us.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Monica Leoso. I play with the Tacoma Sirens. I've been playing for 1 year, and I'm going in my second season with them. Yeah.
Do you have a specific position or?
Oh, yes. I play flanker, so that's either number 6 or number 7. And then recently I've been playing as a center. So that's like either 12 or 13.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And people can get more information about what you guys are doing at tacomarugby.com, correct?
Yeah, so TacomaRugby.com is like our whole club. So under Tacoma Rugby, we have the Nomads, which you guys met.
Yeah.
We're the Sirens, and then the Tsunamis, the youth program. And I also think that the JBLM team falls under them. They have a small
they have their own team
Army
too?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, usually just for sevens, which is our
Okay.
shorter version of rugby.
We've heard about
the
sevens.
summer version of rugby.
Yeah, hurling has sevens as well.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew about it. Well,
Yeah.
because I knew about it from because we
Yeah.
had the men's team,
Right.
the
Nomads.
Nomads.
No.
So
Nomads,
we're
yeah.
going into our 15 season, which is
crazy.
like our bread and
Wow.
butter, and the Rugby World Cup is happening in about a month. So when that happens, that's always 15s. It's kind of like the more traditional, well-known version of the sport.
The more fun version of the sport,
sevens,
too.
yeah.
Is it?
Sevens
do you
is
feel it's
what's
more
in the
fun?
Olympics.
It is. You got more people on the field, so that means you got to do like less work, quote unquote.
It seems like it would be way more chaotic though with that many people.
It is way more chaotic. It's way
a
more
lot of
chaotic.
contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's better because it's less sprinting for long distances. Because
Ah,
sevens, like you take
yeah.
it and you just run, and then you're like, oh nope, not me.
Yeah, that's what everybody said about sevens. Is it's super fast and
Yes.
a lot of running.
Yeah.
So
And,
yeah.
so I also was able to contact you guys via the Tacoma Sirens Facebook page,
Yes,
which is
that's
probably the best way. I mean, nowadays it's like with websites and emails, you're like whatever, but the immediacy with Facebook. Like seriously, guys, thank you so much for coming out here and be able to talk to us a little bit about rugby.
Shout out to our girl Amber, who runs our Sirens social media, and she does an awesome job. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
quick
she-
shout out to her.
She was able to get me in contact with you guys, and once I figured out Facebook myself, we got it all booked up, and we were able to do this. So this is really a lot of fun because I've seen the rugby play down on Portland Avenue at the Portland Avenue
Yeah,
Park.
that's our home field.
I
Is
used
that where
to-
you guys play too?
Yeah.
That's our home field.
I used to live right by there, and so it was one of
Awesome.
those things that was our park that we would go to and go on walks on and stuff like that. So we'd see the practices out there, and you guys get a good crowd of people coming and watching you. So it's got to be really exciting when it comes down to that.
It is. It is. I like when other teams come to watch us. Like when I see like Bud Bay come through, or I'll see the Seattle teams come through. I'm like, yeah, I like the like. We all kind of support each other a little bit.
Yeah.
We also kind of want to see what our competitors are like.
Yeah,
But we
yeah,
also
yeah,
like
yeah.
to hang out and drink with our surrounding sisters, and I like
Yeah.
that.
That is really fun. And so, how did you guys each get into rugby? I want to start off with that because you guys have said you different varying years coming from a couple of years for a while now. How did how were you introduced to rugby?
So for me, my brother, who was a year older than me, he played football, and then as soon as he went to college, and we're from the East Coast, so this is
okay.
Massachusetts, so he went to his college and no football team, so he started playing rugby, and I was a year under him. I had played soccer my whole life, and I was always too aggressive, getting yellow cards and all that. And I knew as soon as I got to college, I was going to find the rugby team right away. And my first day of classes, went right to the rugby field, UMass women's rugby, shout out, and never left.
Wow, that's fantastic. And like when you're doing that, is it were there female teams at the time? Is it co-ed or like how do you go to class
No,
with that?
it was there was a women's and men's team, and back then, the way things are set up is different now. We were a D1 team. So we were on the East Coast. We would play Army and Brown, and we actually went to the national championships in 2010 when I played. So that was a really cool experience.
Congratulations!
And yeah, definitely
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Wow. So Monica, how'd you get into it?
So I wanted to always, so I live around the park at the time. So back in 2013, I wanted to start playing rugby after high school, but I was like kind of scared. So like I kind of like I went to one of their practices, but then I went back, which was 2018, and that's when I really started. I didn't really start getting into the game until I started following a lot of people like that plays rugby professionally, or even like around the local clubs. Like I was like, wow, that looks fun. Like that looks like something I would want to do. And so like now that I'm in it, I'm like really glad I'm in it. Yeah, it's really fun, and I love the contact.
And that's like, I mean, this is like rugby is a very physical like thing. So it's like when you're saying it's like I was too physical for soccer, which it kind of makes sense in that a natural progression would be like a rugby. So that's pretty amazing on that. Excuse me. And then Melody, how'd you get into?
I found out about rugby when I moved to Washington. I'm from Texas. Oh, my mic. Thank you. Sorry about that.
You got it? You can move it closer to you.
Yeah, you can just pull a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Move it closer. Move it closer. That's the problem. No.
it sucks, but it has to be right there. It's
Okay.
a pain, but. Oh, look at Jeff.
Oh,
Jeff, you're
Jeff.
so the,
What
you're
a
the
guy.
best, dude. Look at him.
Thank you so much.
There we
Dude.
go.
All right.
There you
Aw.
go.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
Such a
So-
professional. Good job, dude.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
So Melody, what got you into it?
And when I moved up here, I had met this chick, and her girlfriend was playing rugby, and she asked me like, "Oh, Melody, you big? You want to come?" And I was like, "I'm big. I want to come. I ain't got nothing to do today." So it just kind of worked out, and like I showed up, and I was like way bigger than what I am right now. But I showed up, and the coaches were really nice. The people on the team were really nice. I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't even run like the warm up lap, but I don't know. It was just really fun.
It was one of those things where at least
Yeah,
it
it just
inspired you to
clicked.
continue to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like you decided I wanted to come back to these.
Yeah.
So there has to be at least people were cool enough to be like not
Yeah.
dissuade you from doing something
When was
like
this?
that.
Was it a few years ago? Or?
Yeah, this was like 2016, January 2016, because I started the spring season of 2016.
Cool.
Nice. Congratulations. Just making this happen. I love just the fact because like I said, I mentioned that I've seen it happening there, and I didn't realize how much of it was going on. Like, it's it's really, really
It's
cool.
huge. Yeah. With the with the sevens being in the Olympics, it's just grown. I think it's one of the fastest growing sports with lacrosse in the U.S. and just in our small Pacific Northwest Rugby Football Union is what our little league that we play in is called. We have 13 women's teams this year, coming from 9 last year. So we've added a couple more, and it's just upped the competition, upped the amount of people that are interested. And I think the most important thing about rugby is you can play it as an adult. There's not many other competitive things you can go do after your high school and college days are over. Other than rugby, I mean, I'm probably unfamiliar to the others, but it's just, it's awesome.
And I mean, like, I would see some people akin to the athleticism and kind of that contact would be something like derby. And so it's like along those lines. And it's like I see a lot of, and it was funny because even the reason why I found you guys was on the Tacoma subreddit. Somebody put out a post about it and put links to it. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun just to get you guys to talk about it. And
Yeah.
it's like one of the posts was like, it's like I wish I hadn't beaten myself up on derby. I'd totally be down for doing this sort of thing.
Oh, that's
I might
cool.
have to go check this post out. He mentioned that
I
earlier.
know.
Yeah,
Who is
yeah,
that?
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Snaps to that person.
Yeah. Find out whoever posted, but they're talking about the practices that you're having, and just come on down
cool.
and check it out and see if it's something for you. So I have to imagine that that's one of those things that now that it is, and how long has it been since it's gotten into the Olympics and this popularity? Has it been the Russian just the last couple of years?
2016 was the first year it was in the Olympics. But I mean, so I've been a part of the sport since 2008, and it's just grown every single year. It's got to
be fun to be able to see that, because even even 2008 isn't necessarily the ground floor.
No, it was not. Yeah.
But just being able to see in the last 10, 11 years how much it has grown.
Totally.
It's got to be a little bit of a pride filling thing for you as well, because if you're going to college and you're doing this and you've gone to the national championships, you want to be able to say, hey, I'm doing this, and somebody not be like, well, what is it?
Right.
And that's where we're at, which I feel like I've done a disservice, because I like seeing all the different sports that we're doing here. Like, I can't do them, so I want to see people who do them
Yes,
on
you
really
can
well
do it.
leather.
You can do it. I'm
You think
telling
I
you,
can?
anybody,
You
any
think I
level,
can?
any
Tell
level
him,
of
tell
person
him.
can do rugby. big, small, little, short arm, long arm, all of them.
T-Rex
broken.
arms.
Yeah,
Dude,
T-Rex.
tiny
Yeah.
little
Exactly.
T-Rex.
There's a position for any body level. So
Yeah,
but
Really?
for sure.
Similar to football in that way, where your body position helps dictate what position you might be good at. It's not always, spot on. And with that, it makes, I think rugby is probably a more inclusive sport for women, and why so many women are drawn to it, because we don't have that discrimination against body type, because whatever you look like, there's a spot for you in rugby.
Yeah, and really, the bigger you are, the better. The more big people you have. Seriously, like they bounce off the big girls. I'm telling you. And we want that. I love when I see a new big girl coming up. Like, yeah, put her in the forward back. Yeah.
So I am absolutely. I've watched some rugby. Like I've said, in person. I've watched them at the fields. I've watched a little bit on television. But I don't know what is going on. I'll see a pile of people, and then suddenly you see the ball scored out and someone running. Like for the basic person, how is rugby played?
Not even basic person. Let's give us the 6th grade overview.
Yeah.
Okay.
Explain it
The
like I'm
easiest-
5.
Break
Yeah,
it down
yeah.
Barney style.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Jeff style, yeah.
Queen, you want to
So,
take that?
I will try my best.
Okay.
So basically 15 aside, so 15 versus 15. And, one team will kick off to the other team, and it's all a game of field position. So you're trying to score what we call a try,
Okay.
which I'll compare to American football,
Like
which would be a
touchdown.
touchdown.
All right. Perfect.
And
yeah. Okay.
and then that's worth 5 points. And then after every try, you have an opportunity to kick for 2 more points. So a possible total of 7. Yeah,
So a try is actually where they cross a goal line and
Yep.
put the ball.
exactly.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you got to put it down. That's the important
Yeah.
part. You have to put it down. Because if you
Right.
just run across it like
Doesn't
football,
count.
It won't count.
Yeah, nope.
You can't just break the plane. You actually have to touch on the other
the
side.
ball down.
Wow,
That's very
okay.
important. Don't
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you're standing over there parading, dancing, I'm like,
You got everyone yelling at you, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm showboating. And you're like, no.
yeah, and then you're gonna get cleared out by the other team, and they're,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We're
did
gonna be
that in
mad.
my first game as a rookie. I thought I was like, oh, I scored. I broke the plane. They were like, no, you just went out of bounds. You didn't do anything. You got to touch it down. I was like, okay.
Well, that's a really good learning experience at that point, and then you probably did that less
Oh,
afterwards.
yes. Yeah.
So you guys are both going back for the try. What is happening when everyone is literally in a pile in the middle of the field?
So go ahead. You want to take it?
Oh, I was gonna say that could be many things. It could be just a sloppy rook, or it could be a scrum.
Okay.
And if it's a scrum,
Yeah.
then that's a technical thing where it's like it'll be 8 from our side and 8 from the other side, and we're fighting for possession of the ball.
Wow.
And so a scrum happens off of a penalty. So it's
Okay.
kind of so somebody does something wrong, there's a penalty, so it's a way to get the ball back started. And the same thing happens with a line out, is kind of when the ball goes out of the field and you see people throw people up in the air.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
line
when
out.
they hold them up.
Yeah.
Right? They can hold them up in
And
the air.
that's how we get the ball back
That's
into the
fantastic.
field of play.
That's probably my favorite thing
Yeah,
to
it's
see.
pretty cool.
I don't watch a lot of like team sports, but I like to watch highlights. And so like where they throw them up in the air, like I love those. I'm like, look at that! Oh shit! They just threw
pretty
that guy
cool.
like 3 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Also, shout out to Rogers. They are our jumper, and they're the best jumper in our area, I feel.
Nice.
shout out to Rogers.
Agreed.
Shout out to Rogers.
And so with the Tacoma Sirens rugby, we mentioned the fact that you're doing practices. You want people to show up and check it out and do that sort of thing. What's going on in terms of like with the league and the schedules? So you said that now you'll have you have 13 teams in your league. Is it going on right now?
Yeah, so we start our first practice tomorrow, 6:30 over at the Portland Ave Fields, and we are coached by the legend Chad Erskine. He is a former World Cup capped eagle for America, and he's super awesome. He's a local firefighter in Tacoma and has a beautiful wife and
didn't
2
he play for
kids.
South
And
Africa?
he played professionally in a couple different countries before becoming a capped eagle for
Now-
the USA.
Did he live in Tacoma or move here, or is
He's-
this like a transplant
yeah,
sort of thing?
He's from South Africa, so he, I believe he played in I think Japan, South Africa,
He did.
England.
He's on the rugby video game for
Yeah.
09.
Really?
He's pretty
Back in the
legit.
day.
He's pretty legit. So
Yeah.
All right, but what is a capped eagle?
So the USA Eagles are our international team. So when like the Rugby World Cup is happening soon, and you'll have like the New Zealand All Blacks, who I'm sure you've heard of. They're like the most famous rugby team.
Because they do the dance thing.
Yeah, they do the haka. Yeah.
I got their poster.
Yeah.
I wanted to do one, but they said it wouldn't be appropriate. But it's super cool
Listen,
and intimidating.
You know how often I hear that in my life? Like, don't. It's not appropriate,
you can't
Scott.
do anything. Like we can't do anything at all. So.
I'm
Bald,
right with you, Scott.
dude, bald white guys, like, forget about it. Like,
Forget about it.
sit here and be quiet.
So he's part of that, been able to, and he
Yeah.
just ended up here in Tacoma, and it was one of those like I'm a firefighter, I'm living in Tacoma doing this, and I'm seeing what you're doing, or
yeah.
was he part of the machinations of making it all happen? Or?
I got his name from somebody else, and I reached out to him, and he agreed to come help us
Nice.
out.
That
And
is
it's
awesome.
been like it's been so great, and he's total inspiration and a great coach for women, which is hard to find because we don't respond well to everybody. and he has an awesome wife and his 2 kids, and they're all just super supportive of us. But actually, our team was founded in 2010 by a woman named Meg DeGravelis.
Nice.
She's no longer with us, but
sorry
she
to hear that.
she saw a need for rugby in the Tacoma area, and I believe she played in the South, so she came and started it in 2010, and it's just built every year.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got 2 things. So, like, just to build on what you said about Tacoma, and one of the things I think that was fantastic about rugby is we had them on, and then I noticed your hat, right? The
Yeah.
Tacoma rugby hat. They threw us some T-shirts and a couple of beanies, I think. And Brogan and I were out a couple of nights, and Brogan was wearing a beanie. And guys came up to us, and they're like, "Oh, I've never seen you on the pitch. Who are you?" or whatever, right? And we're like, "We're nobody. We're just supporters." And
We just like hats.
yeah, and dude, instantly they were like, "Oh, you guys should come out. You guys should." And everybody, like, and it happened 3 or 4 times, and everybody's been super cool. Like, we've
Yeah.
never, because sometimes you worry, like you wear something, right? You never know, and nobody's ever been aggressive or mean or anything.
No,
Every one of
yeah.
them's been super supportive, and we don't even know them, right?
We,
and
we
they're
save
just
that
like,
aggression
"Hey."
for the
Yeah.
field.
Dude, it sounds
It sounds like a really good release. Like
Even
that-
even on the field, people aren't super aggressive. Like every time I've ever been like laying out by somebody, or just anytime I've ever laid somebody out, you always like pick that person up and you're like, "Hey, get up! You know, good job, let's go."
Yeah.
And it's really supportive, and it's just. Nobody is mean. Nobody
That
is
is
mean.
cool.
It's such a good like culture, just like a good feel. When you go to a pitch, you like, I don't got to worry about locking my car. I can leave my purse out. I can do whatever I want. You know. Like,
Well, that's just silly. Who? What? No,
I mean, it's a
Listen, you
different
still
world.
live in Tacoma.
Right.
I mean,
that is
don't
true.
leave
That
your
is true.
stuff
East
over
side
there.
Tacoma.
It's 2019. That's-
East side Tacoma.
Like, I love the east side, but guess what is in my car? Nothing. Like, don't even just give him that whole chance on that one.
Not even a stereo anymore.
Don't even worry about that.
Well, real quick,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah.
and
No,
I
no,
brought
no,
this up
keep
on the
going.
last one. The guy that was on, damn it, I'm gonna have to write his
Okay,
name down.
which one?
The Mad Hat Tea guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tobin.
Tobin. Thank you. So then, like he was saying, he
Yeah.
travels all over the world, and
Yeah.
everywhere he goes, he takes shoes, and he finds a pitch everywhere, and
I was
they're
about to
like,
say, I hope he takes shoes
well,
everywhere.
you're
But
silly.
it would be Tobin to not have shoes.
It would be Tobin
Yeah.
to not have shoes.
No,
True.
whatever, like rugby shoes, right?
Oh,
That he
your
plays
boots.
with.
Boots,
Yeah,
cleats.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Look at me. Do I look like I run? No. So anyway, Tobin.
90
And he says that everywhere he goes, everybody's nice. Like all the
Yeah.
different countries, they're like, oh yeah, there's a pitch, they'll play. And that's one of the things that I think fascinates me about rugby in general. Like, what other sport is like that?
It doesn't seem like
Like,
that. I mean, it's like you
almost
guys are
none,
a
right?
family. Like, it's
yeah,
it's
we
like
definitely are.
and even just the 3 of you right here are giving off that vibe. When you
Yeah.
came in, it was
We're
like,
sisters.
Yeah, she's my sister.
Hashtag sisterhood.
You'll hear that a lot on our pitch.
That's
Sisterhood.
that's perfect because it's one of those places where you can have physical interactions with no word, like you were talking about. There's no judgment. You
Yeah.
guys are just there in a competitive spirit, doing a competitive sport, but you guys are together. It's a team sport, which means you guys have to gel and you guys have to be together. And I think
Yeah.
anybody can get that.
100%.
And that's fantastic. Like I said, the Tacoma Sirens Rugby, you can find them on Facebook, TacomaRugby.com. You mentioned that you guys have a YouTube as well.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube. We're doing some great stuff on YouTube. We got Leslie coming in with the music to the
Yeah,
soundtrack.
our game videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Leslie, our vice
Yeah.
president. Yeah.
Now, the fact that you guys are doing YouTube videos, are you looking to you end up doing a little bit of more showboating than anything else? Are you trying to get on a highlight reel, or is it one of those things?
Always. No.
Quinn does have a nice step to her.
Yeah.
But I don't think we do it for the highlights. I think we do it for just so it's very beneficial to me to watch myself play because then I can see what I did.
That's a good
So
point.
I look at it for that, but
Yeah.
also I do like showing people like, hey, watch me run through these bitches real quick. Go check me out in this game right here. So I guess it could be for a highlight reel, but I use it for learning purposes.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
probably the best way to do
I
it.
use it for highlights, you know.
She makes her own highlights and it's
She
amazing.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on.
And she posts them on her Instagram, and her Instagram's so cool
Yeah.
because
We're also
she
on
has,
Instagram too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what's the is it just
Tacoma Women's Rugby or Tacoma Sirens Women's
I don't know.
Rugby?
I don't have an Instagram.
Oh shoot! I think it's Tacoma Sirens Women's Rugby.
Well, you know what we do? We have the awesome Scott. I guess you're awesome. You'll
Yeah.
find it, and we'll
I'm
post it right on the description, so people will be able to find it right
It'll
on
be in
the
the show
page.
notes.
And we'll put it in the show notes, but we also put it on our website and our Facebook page and stuff like that, so
Awesome.
people will be able to link right to it. And I'm definitely going to be following you on ours as well.
Hey.
Yay.
Like seriously, like
Yeah.
just seeing all of that stuff. And I think one of those is that, and I mentioned the YouTube and I mentioned the social media because we can talk about it and we can say, oh yeah, this is a thing, but you need to see it. And you need to, if you can't go to the practices, depending on whenever you're downloading this,
Yeah.
check out the websites and see what the schedule is going like. But at that same point, you want to be able to see the physicality. You want to see what you guys are actually doing out there. And social media makes that super easy.
Yeah.
And I love
Everybody
stuff like
can come watch
Instagram.
a game, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
no matter who you are, you
Yeah.
can come watch a game.
And they're free. You don't get charged or anything like
yeah,
that. Just
like
show up.
just come support your teams, man. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
I will say
Yeah.
that if you are looking on our YouTube channel to be like, oh, I might want to play rugby, it looks a lot easier on the screen. We be out there dying.
Oh,
yeah. It looks like I'm moving real fast, and it looks like I'm doing a lot of stuff, but really I'm just like about to throw up the whole time. So just keep that in mind. Like we make it look easy, we make it look pretty, but it's a lot of hard work.
Dude, that's how I feel right now. Like, word for word.
He makes it
Almost
look
ready
pretty.
to
Yeah,
throw
you guys
up.
making this podcast thing look easy. I'm
I
like
know,
trying to
right?
like. I'm still nervous about this mic stuff. I keep looking at him trying to read his lips, but I can't because the mic's
The
in
mic's
front
in
of
the
it.
way. Sorry about that. But on that same point, you got you got the rugby for the men, you got the rugby for the women, and then also you got it for the kids, the tsunamis.
Yes.
This is a fantastic thing because it's an organized sport. It would be like essentially getting your kid into like a martial arts or along those
Yeah.
lines. But it's a team sport, and I think
Yes.
kids need to be doing a little bit more team sport stuff. Look at
Agreed.
me talking like it. I don't have kids. I literally don't have kids. I have 2 cats.
Remember those team sports? Remember all those team sports you did growing
I
up?
did.
I
What
know.
kind of sports did you do?
I did football for a little bit.
Okay.
But then my dad pulled me from it because he's a dick.
Oh.
And
Dude,
then I
dad
did,
stories for Justin or the
That's a whole nother
oh,
podcast.
that's a
segment.
whole other. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, that's a whole nother segment.
we can talk about my stepdad who is a dick or my real dad who robbed banks, which I
Oh,
think
wow.
might have
Oh.
actually happened.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Dang, did you ever find any money in the closet somewhere?
No, my mom used to make up what I thought were tall tales, and then I met my dad, and I was like,
Ooh.
these might not be tall tales.
These tails are kind of short,
Yeah,
actually.
these could be actually real. So, yeah. And then I also I played hard pitch fastball.
Yeah, you
did. Okay.
I was a catcher because look at
Yeah,
me.
he was.
Like this body shape hasn't changed that
Hey,
much. in
somebody's
that.
got to be a catcher.
Same with me.
Right.
I was a
Somebody's gotta do
catcher
this
too. This
important
body
role.
was always thick. Like,
Soccer, I was always playing goalie because I didn't like to run. Like I still hate running. So
That's okay. Man, I met a goalie the other day. His hand was like kind of messed up. He had said he like popped his pinky out of place or something.
That sounds awful.
No, well, we have questions about that later.
yeah.
Oh, and I got a story from the last guys that they didn't tell us. It's fucking great.
Okay.
Really?
Well,
All
don't,
right,
don't
all right.
keep me on the edge of my seat.
Oh
for
no,
too
you
long.
gotta wait
gosh.
now.
Yep, we gotta wait.
Gotta wait.
What right now we're gonna do is we're gonna refill our drinks. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back with coaster questions.
I would just wanted to say one thing. I want to
Oh.
plug our
Perfect.
practices
Yeah,
in
yeah,
our first game.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. I was like,
Go
all
ahead.
right. So we practice Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 to 8:30 at the Tacoma rugby fields, Portland Ave Metro Parks.
Yeah, or you can
So
put
it's-
in like
Yeah.
East Side
It's right by
Community
like
Center.
Fairview.
Fairway, I
Fairbanks?
think.
Fairway.
Oh, Fairbanks.
Fairbanks.
Oh,
Fairbanks, yeah, it's Fairbanks and
Oh.
Portland Ave.
Yes.
It's right
Don't
there.
Yeah.
listen to this guy. He was
I
telling me
used to-
earlier that like Parky's was.
Dude, no.
Hey,
Fergie's
Parky's is a
or
good spot
something.
though. Parky's
That's
super cheap beer. You
directionally
can get drunk
challenged.
for $20 at Parky's.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
drinking at Parky's,
Yeah.
and then he
No.
told me it was Fergie's, and I'm like,
No,
no.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. On the last episode, we had talked about we talked about being at the McKinley Street Fair, and we were there, and we went into this little hole, literally like a hole in the wall bar, and the guy was like, "It's Parky's," and I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
No,
me
no,
and the guest agreed
no.
that it was Parky's.
Parky's is
But
next
no,
to the
not
food bank,
Justin.
which is next to the top of Tacoma.
Parky's is next to top
Yeah,
of Tacoma.
yeah. Across the street is the like Elks Lodge or whatever, and then right next to that is Fergie's on the Ave, and they've got a restaurant, but in the back is a bar with no windows. That was where we were. Like there were no windows. It was a box. And
Sounds awful.
Was it hot?
It wasn't actually. It was they had
No,
some, they
the
had
AC was on.
It was
That was
nice.
it, yeah.
So yeah, like
yeah.
it wasn't too hot, and it was pretty comfortable, and they served us alcohol. So,
No,
I mean, it was
actually, you
fine.
know what? For being
It was just kind of scary because there's no windows.
For being a tiny bar with no windows, it wasn't that sketchy.
Oh, cool.
Because sometimes you go in right. Because so I have some rules about drinking at bars with unbreakable furniture. Like I won't do certain things, right? Because there's
you know fights are gonna happen there,
right. And so this one was actually pretty cool, man. They had the touch tunes things
yep.
going.
So
it
that
great,
was
man.
Fergie's.
No,
And
pretty sure it was
Parky's is the
Parky's.
Yeah, when you say unbreakable furniture, I know you wasn't at Parky's because all their furniture is broken. So it's that much of a hole in the wall.
Well,
but
that's
they
where
got
I
cheap
would
beer,
drink.
though.
No, I don't drink at places with unbreakable furniture.
Okay,
If it's
okay.
bolted to the ground, I fucking leave immediately. I'm like, I can't drink here. Why? Because someone's gonna. They probably tried to throw that. That's why they bolted to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here.
You're right. Also, what if something happens and you want to throw that chair?
Exactly.
And I can't.
Right.
I can't
So-
defend myself.
Dude,
now.
I think you and I are
maybe-
like this.
I
You
know
got
we
me.
should drink together. Me and you, we should go get fucked
We
up.
are.
I mean, but we're not fucked up yet.
Well, you might not be.
Let's do it.
So now that we've talked enough smack about Fergie's and Parky's, maybe they'd be willing to sponsor us.
I know. Hey.
We're open to sponsors.
Okay, so no, that's a legit
Yeah.
thing though,
Yeah.
because what you guys are doing, it's like you need to be able to get funds in for certain
Yeah.
things,
Right.
and like whether it be travel, uniforms, equipment, all that sort of thing. So
Right.
if people are interested in maybe helping out a local group of people who are
Yeah.
doing things good for women
us, help
and
us,
helping out
please.
with sports, like do so, and they can contact you via
Yeah.
like Facebook or like
Yes.
the websites or
We're
any of those
always
things.
open to sponsorship, and we actually O'Malley's on 6th Ave sponsors us, and they have a nice, cool logo on our. We got brand new jerseys in the spring, and they have a nice little
See,
Good for
outbid
them.
on our arm.
Good for
yeah,
them.
Yeah, so
it's really cool.
outbid O'Malley's and get your name on the jerseys, and it'll be perfect. I love it. Now, we will be taking a break. We do need to refill our drinks. We need to get to some coaster questions, which are questions from drunk people at bars.
Hey,
Which
my
so-
favorite kind of people.
We're not
amazing.
responsible for
We're
any
not
of these
responsible
questions.
for these
We're gonna
questions,
throw
so
that
just
out.
know that. We'll come
Okay,
back.
I'm not responsible for my answers.
Good answer. Good
Okay,
answer.
if you're not responsible, don't make us responsible.
Right, I'm not responsible for your answers either.
Okay.
And we will come back in just a minute.
All right, thank you. Hey, you know what? Are these headphones transferable? Like, can I put these?
Yeah, we can talk about stuff.
Just be aware.
Back into the live.
Just be
stream.
aware.
Come on, y'all, give me
that
a
we can't-
melody, give me a
Wait,
harmony.
what was our?
We had girls sing one time about
T-Rex,
balls on
T-Rex,
our show.
T-Rex.
You guys-
Are we officially
we had,
T-Rex?
who were they?
We are official T-Rex.
God damn it.
I don't remember who sang the ball song.
I don't. Yeah, you do.
I
Sirens.
don't-
No.
No. Gritty City Sirens?
Yeah.
Oh, the burlesque.
So burlesque.
Yeah, yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
They were awesome.
All right, so we are back. We are T-Rex. Now, here is something that was really interesting. I did mention, I think to you, Kelsey, as we're going around, that this place, and I don't know if the Union Club wants to talk about it or not, but I'm going to talk about it.
Are you talking about ghosts
Hell
right
yeah.
now?
Yeah, this shit is haunted as
fuck.
fuck. I love this place. And actually, while you guys were here,
Is
and
it
I don't want
haunted for real, or are you just kidding?
No,
no, I believe it. I truly believe it.
I mean, I would be surprised if you said it was born in
1888. It was
built-
built
Yeah.
1888.
Yeah.
Sounds
Like
haunted.
in Tacoma, yeah, right. And Tacoma is built on trauma. Like there's a whole lot of terrible traumatic events that have happened, and one thing that leaves ghosts are traumatic events.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. And at this point in time, we have done some things in the past where Jeff has you got an app, right?
Yeah.
So how does this app work?
Basically, it's supposed to take energies and turn them into words.
What's the name of it?
The obelisk. This is the eye obelisk.
Oh,
Can I
wow.
get that written down later on?
Yeah.
I don't have any apps on my phone, but I want to get that one.
Yeah, right. So Jeff actually, you were running it, right?
Yes, I was running it while we were outside taking a break, and it said strange. And then I asked what's strange. It said fear. And I said, well, what are you scared of? And it said drink. And
Is
I
this
said,
happening right now? Are you texting that to your app right
no,
now?
No, I'm reading what it keeps
It was a
log.
ghost
Yeah,
that's
the app.
talking
Well,
to you?
it's energy
Yeah.
that is saying these things.
See the look on her face?
But
She's
I'm saying,
like, it's a
that
ghost
energy
right
right
now?
here.
Yeah. No, it's happening right now. As you
What?
talk, that ghost is talking to
I
you.
was like,
No,
do I drink?
It keeps the log. Yeah, you could drink. And it said, and when it said remove, I said, what? The drinks? I said, we're almost done. It said yourself. And I gasped. I went, the next word came up was gasp.
Yeah.
And then I gasped again.
So this is one of those things where I truly believe this. And
I
so,
have the chills.
yeah, I
So
know,
wait,
I
that's
know.
happening right now, and that you're getting that
Oh, you did
reading
that
right
earlier.
now, or
We
was
did
that
it while
earlier?
We were outside.
When we were outside, why
Oh,
didn't you tell me when I was outside? I didn't
Everybody
move
was
my
having a
body.
great time.
What if I needed to move something? What if it would have dropped right
But
there?
no, we removed from right there. So I think, Jeff, I think you should run it right now as
All
it's
right.
going along. And
We
if
can do
something
it.
does pop up, let us know. We're going to get a little audience feedback from
Oh
me,
shit,
from
you
energy.
freaking me
I
out.
know. I had to do it.
I want to get some pictures
we
first.
hold
and
hands?
we'll
It's
do it.
okay.
Cool.
We'll be okay.
One time, one
Money
podcast we had, we were talking about the ghosties and stuff like that. This area got so cold, like we were all putting on our jackets and putting our hoodies up over our heads. It
Weird.
got
Not me.
shit.
I wasn't. Just
Hey,
these
but
guys
are you
were.
guys
Don't-
good to the building, right? If you guys are
Yeah,
making
we
the
are.
spirits
very
happy,
respectful.
Yeah.
very okay, good.
Super
'cause Don't be
respectful.
out here like fuck you, ghost.
No,
You know,
no.
don't be bringing bad energy.
We know a guy who does that. We know a guy.
Yep.
And that
Don't
was,
provoke
No,
them.
he does. He so we did a ghost hunt with Andrew from Tacoma Ghost
Ooh.
Tours, and we did it at Brandy's
It was
attic.
Brady's Attic.
Yeah.
Attic, which is right up here, and that place is super haunted as well.
And it was
Which one?
really
Brandy's,
Yeah.
Brandy's
Brandy's
attic.
attic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an antique store.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's got
What-
some
what
good
street
stuff
is
to buy.
that?
It might be on Broadway. It might be just down the street from us right here.
Could be.
Yeah.
But and,
Just right,
and it
just
was
I'm
right.
gonna eat this high chew.
Yeah, dude. Karen. They actually have videos on their YouTube page, I think.
Yeah.
Of like mirrors like flying through the air and so yeah, like really crazy things. And so we did a ghost hunt there with Andrew, and about halfway through this thing, he just got angry and he's like, I'm going to provoke it. And he starts yelling at it, calling it names. And Brogan and I were there, and both of us were like, oh my God. I think we both went white and we ran out as soon as we were done. We're like, yeah, we're out of here. Like, I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm
Did
hauling
you
ass,
feel
bro.
like anything changed?
No. You know, the only time I've ever had a experience is here. I know it sounds weird. And I don't really, I'm not a big haunted guy. or
Yeah,
ghost
yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
real.
Bigfoot though. Bigfoot.
Hey.
I love the Bigfoot story. But here, like I was upstairs one time. Ooh, you guys know where the coffee room is?
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was standing there, and you know how it goes sideways, right? And so someone walked by, and I turned around and I yelled at him. I thought it was one of these guys. I was like, hey, whatever, dick or whatever, right? I don't know what I said. And then I followed him around. It was something, though. I was like, hey. And then no one answered me. And so I walked around this way, and I was like, nobody's here. And then I walked down the stairs. I'm like, hey, what the fuck, right? And there's, what are you talking about? I watched somebody walk
And that
down.
was-
No, it literally
Front
tripped me out. And I was
door.
like, holy
oh my
shit.
God.
And that
It
was
just said
I have
prayer.
the chills so
Prayer?
bad.
Prayer.
Yeah,
Prayer?
say a prayer.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, I
Okay.
just got tingles. Okay,
Monty,
so
this is your spot right here.
Yeah,
This is
Monica.
where you shine.
we're gonna
Lead
get
us through a prayer, please.
We are going to get
Hallelujah.
back. We're going to get back on target. We got the Tacoma Sirens with us. Women's rugby in Tacoma.
In Tacoma.
Seriously, thank you so much for showing up. We got Melody, Kelsey, and Monica talking about this. And I think maybe we should get into coaster questions. Now,
Yeah.
I didn't really explain it a whole lot when before we went to the break, but coaster questions are questions from drunk people asked at a bar, literally and figuratively written on the back of a coaster.
Yes, check your favorite bar in Tacoma because you could have a Grit City podcast coaster there with a question on it. We'd like you to fill that out, take a picture of it, send it to us, or whatever.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where if you've got a question about maybe one of the past guests,
Yeah.
or sometimes we shoot it out. Like for this one, for our coaster questions, we asked, what questions would you ask an athlete? And because it worked really well because we had the last week's episode was also some athletes. So we were able to kind of intermingle these. So some of them will be some of those questions as well. And just drunk people at any bars. So if you guys have those, send a picture, post them on our Instagram.
How's that, Candy?
Send us
Man, I'm hoping you guys can't hear me smacking on this.
Oh.
I'm trying to like lean back, and,
Yeah.
like eat to the side.
I'm
and shit.
hoping every can hear every bit of that. What
Well,
kind is that right there? What
This
is it?
hot chew. I got a green apple hot chew.
Ooh.
We're inserting it in my mouth right now.
No.
It's good.
Dude, my mouth is watering a little bit right now. Green
know.
apple.
Those are
Green
good.
apple's the worst.
the
I'm
worst.
sorry, audience. I'm sorry.
So here's the first question for our coaster questions. And we'll just kind of go down the line, figure out whoever's got the answer first. We'll see what whoever, just go ahead and answer. What's something non-sports related that you're really good at?
For me, it's
yeah.
it's singing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Are you a karaoke queen or do you?
Oh, yeah, I like to karaoke.
She's been
yeah.
waiting for y'all to ask that.
Yeah.
Tacoma's got some really good karaoke bars.
Uh-huh.
So where do you guys?
Camp bar.
Oh, you hit the camp
Camp
bar?
bar.
Go to camp bar.
Nice.
That was part of our boot to boot. Was the
Yep.
Camp Bar?
Yeah.
I have Camp Bar shirts. Dude, that guy
We
was
love
awesome
Camp
there.
Bar.
Dude, they're the best.
We have
right?
Camp Bar bruises.
No, like seriously, like the camp bar is part of the Boot to Boot, a fantastic place. We knew them back when it was the Acme Bar, and
Yep.
they have turned that place into a fantastic location. And I just love the theme. And seriously, have you done the s'mores? Have you done the s'mores?
S'mores.
You can do s'mores there. They'll bring you a little tiny flame, and you can cook your own marshmallows.
Oh
and
yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Do
Okay,
it. It's
I thought
really
you meant
good.
like, have I had s'mores here? I was like, wait,
Not here. No.
I zoned out. I was thinking about the ghost for 2 seconds, and I came back, and you were talking about s'mores.
Well, and that's kind of okay. We'll go back to the non-sports with you guys, but at this point, I want to go back. There's another question here that is: do you have an official bar? Would you guys consider the camp bar your official bar?
Well, I think between O'Malley's and Camp Bar, because O'Malley's is our sponsor,
Gives you
and
the
we
sponsor.
had a really cool like alumni event there in April.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was
Cool.
awesome, where we auctioned off and bought these jerseys.
Cool.
But Camp Bar is where we have a lot of our socials. And if you know anything about rugby community or culture, we basically beat each other up on the field, and then we go have a drink after.
Oh,
So
by
they
that,
have
a million
yeah,
drinks.
yeah. So we all go to usually Camp Bar,
nice.
and we have a drink. We do kind of like MVP of the game type awards, and then we sing funny, ridiculous, not always appropriate songs.
Never appropriate.
Never appropriate.
And they're totally cool with that, and they let that happen.
Yes, they do.
A lot of the
Good
guests
on
there
them.
that are already there when we show up, I feel really bad to them. And if any of you are out there, we're sorry, because their faces be like, oh my God. I saw a lady try to like get out of the door, but we were blocking the door. So she was just standing there just like, so pissed.
So the official bar where you do official things would be O'Malley's, though.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right on, perfect. And I mean, since they get the sponsorship,
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
for O'Malley's.
Unless anybody
Like,
wants to outbid O'Malley's. I mean,
Yeah, that's
we can help you both out, but don't forget we're looking for people if you're out there.
These people want us to pray really bad, so it said prayer, come prayer.
Whoa.
Really?
Money,
Yeah.
money,
Money,
Hey,
let's
man,
do a prayer
you know
real
what?
quick,
I feel
please.
like the Facebook invite didn't say there was gonna be ghosts. No,
Yeah, never mentioned anything.
I
like
would have
that.
worn my cross necklace or something. You know.
Oh, I do have a cross necklace.
Got
Let
me.
me
Oh,
pull
you
it
do?
out.
See, just
Oh,
hang
money.
around.
All right.
Just hang around
All
with
right.
Kelsey. You guys will be fine.
Yes.
Now either no Kelsey and
I
Melody.
love that you pulled that out and put it on the outside of your shirt. That makes me so happy.
What's something?
No ghosts.
What's something non-sports related that you guys are really good at? Either Kelsey or Melody on this one.
Or like to do. You don't have to be good at it.
Yeah,
Just like to do.
yeah.
Oh, like to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
got
got
you.
you.
I am obsessed with orcas, and I like am so. I'm so involved in wanting to like help them, and like I've gone all around
Really?
chasing them and watching them from the land. I went on a whale watch just in June up in the San Juan Islands, and my husband and I go camping a lot in San Juan Island, and we've seen them so many times, and it's been beautiful. And so I'm really I love like trying to help their environment and conservation and all that. Yeah.
You should, definitely check out Drinking for Conservation.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they do the
that sound
animal
like
stuff.
you.
Like they have a Facebook page, and it's literally just Drinking for Conservation. And they will do. Sometimes they've done some orca stuff. A lot of the times it'll be depending on whichever animal they want to be helping out at that time.
They do one a month.
Yeah.
I think.
And
Oh,
did I
that's
say that right?
awesome.
And
One
it's-
a
yeah,
month.
yeah,
Those
and-
were all words, right?
one a month.
Okay, good.
Yeah, one. And what will happen is it'll be like they'll do it at a bar, and usually the bar during that time will give a certain amount of proceeds towards whatever
cool.
they're doing on that. So
That's
keep an eye on those
dope.
because they do orca stuff as well.
Yeah.
So check that out. Or even
I
just,
will.
Yeah, go
That's
to the
right up
zoo
my
and
alley.
aquarium and just have some fun and just like inundate them with a ton of orca questions. I love it.
Yeah, orcas are badass. I just have to throw
so
that
cool,
out. They
man.
are
Dude,
really
they're
cool.
so majestic.
Well, not just majestic, but
Yeah.
they're so like I'm a dork, dude. But there's so many like different things. Like some eat salmon, some eat
Yeah.
like mammals, some
Yeah.
actually hunt white sharks.
Yeah.
What a trip, right?
Yeah, like baby humpback whales
I'm a
and
giant
stuff,
nerd.
yeah.
I know. But orcas are cool. I hate the ocean because monsters live there. But other than that, they're all right.
Melody, you got something that you're super passionate about or you're really good
Uh-oh.
at or any of those things?
I've been trying to think of answers while Quinn was talking.
So it better be good.
No, I have
You've
nothing.
had
I'm
plenty
like,
of time,
That's
so.
what I'm saying. That means I need to do better in my
No,
life.
I know what you have.
Uh-oh.
Is it dogs? Because I was gonna
It's-
say. I was gonna say dogs. But I'm not really good at that. But I like to like.
Oh,
No,
that's all right.
this girl takes loving your dog to a whole nother level.
Really?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a skill.
It is.
No,
No, it is,
passionate
man.
about.
No. If you're able to be personable towards animals, that's a huge thing. Like,
Thank you guys. I thought
No.
I had nothing going on. I was getting scared.
No, it's like one of those things. If you can have a dog approach you and you like that's a lot because so many people are terrified of dogs.
I used to be terrified of dogs. I just got my first dog, and now I'm like super in love with it.
What got you over it? Was it the dog?
Well, I'm from Texas, so back home dogs are like on chains and just outside, and they don't really, like they're just
yeah.
animals. So now that I'm here, I'm really getting to learn that these dogs have personalities. These dogs, so I just it's like a new love, and I'm just like really into it. So I guess
Are you gonna be one of those that pushes around your dog on a stroller or anything like that?
No, but I do lift my dog up because he's got a bad leg, and I pick him up and I put him into my truck. I'm actually about to try and get a smaller car so that like I took my bed like off the frame, and now my bed's on the floor just so he wouldn't have to
You
jump.
need to get those little
Oh, that's
steps.
so
They have the little
cute.
steps.
He doesn't like the steps. He
Oh.
doesn't. We tried to put him on the steps, and he
Fuck
just
no,
like
he
was
can
like
jump.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not stupid, Melody.
Yeah.
I can jump. So he doesn't. He's in denial, and he didn't want to say like I can't do this. So I
It's
just
like
had to
I
put him on
got
the floor.
another good one.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Look,
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have one fucked up leg.
God has
Speaking
stairs
from
by his bed now too.
I do. Shut up. I have a chair in my shower, dick.
Hey, that's okay. That is okay. I wish I
Right?
had a chair in my shower. I would
Listen,
spend a lot more time.
I
in
didn't
there.
think it was a big deal. Well, and this is funny because I think next year we're probably going to do something. I would like to do something like wounded warriors or something like
Yeah.
people that
absolutely.
amputees
Did you
or
say
something.
woot woot?
What?
No, he said wounded.
I did that time. Woo woo.
Oh Jesus!
Hey,
sorry,
real
go
quick, Jeff, what's the ghost saying?
He's still saying prayer. He just wants us to
He says,
pray.
just please pray,
He's done.
please.
He just
Okay,
left.
pray.
so if Monica leads us through a prayer, do we think it will go away?
Wait,
stir
Money,
shit
are you
up.
are you comfortable with that? Are you
I
got?
mean, yeah, I can
Okay.
pray.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
Are you religious?
Money's-
Is this a thing?
Money
You guys-
is
she-
religious.
oh, is
Yeah,
she
that's
your
why I said put
prayer
her in the
person?
middle. That
Yeah.
way I can touch hold of her.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
it.
That
Do
way
it.
her light can
All right.
hold to me.
Okay.
I'll even look down and everything.
bow your
Okay.
heads
I'll close your
and
eyes.
close
Also,
your
sorry if this
eyes.
offends any of my listeners out there. Just
Whatever.
for a second, hold
No,
on.
They can just shut up.
Yeah,
We're doing this for the ghost.
Yeah.
We're doing this for the
Shut
ghost.
off your podcast if you don't like it.
All right.
Okay,
All
bow
right.
your
God,
heads
she's
and close
real,
your
right?
eyes. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you please be with us today, Lord. I pray that you please watch over us and protect us, Lord. And I pray that you send us good vibes, Lord, throughout this podcast, Lord. And just be with us throughout today. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Money.
Thank you, Money.
What if the ghost is like, not good enough, Money? No,
It's good
Well,
enough.
I know we're gonna find out.
Oh my God, you scared me.
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Is she real?
Oh yeah. So
Oh,
Wrong
that
time.
was fantastic.
we do this pray. We're all silent. Scott's wife is just slyly walking behind us, grabbing a beer, and then walking back upstairs, and literally scares the shit out of everyone.
You guys didn't see her at all, did you?
No, I did. That's why I was saying, is she real? But you guys had already closed your eyes. But I was like, nobody. Oh my God.
Well,
All right.
sorry about that,
Oh
but
my gosh.
hopefully we'll get through all of this.
Because I just had your story like going through my mind. I was like, oh no.
Apparently, the ghosts around here like to drink too. So.
Oh, I love this. All right, we got another.
It is Tacoma.
You're right.
Everything likes to drink in Tacoma. The next coaster question.
It just said turn.
Turn?
Yeah.
Which way? Ask him which way. No.
That's weird because it didn't say nothing after the second prayer until she prayed, and now it says turn.
Turn where? Which way
Oh,
do
this
you
is
want
creeping me out.
Okay, next
All right.
question.
Next coaster
Okay.
question. Your favorite fantasy animal. So this would be something like
yes.
unicorns, Pegasus.
Mermaid.
Mermaid?
Mermaid.
Why?
Because, well, I'm a water person. Like, if I'm stressed out or anything, I'm gonna go sit in the shower. Sometimes I'm so stressed out, I do it with all my clothes on. But
Wow, okay.
yeah, so like I feel like just going, like if I was able to be like a mythical creature or something, it'd be a mermaid. 'Cause I go down in that water and I see like underground cities and shit, all kinds. Like so
Yeah,
much of the ocean
yeah.
is like
Aquaman
unexplored and shit.
Yeah.
There's gotta be a mermaid, and there gotta be a mermaid. And then I can maybe change into back to a human if I didn't want to come back on up.
If you
But
got that, then yeah, that's the best of both worlds on that one.
I know mermaid.
And
Mermaid.
you play for the Sirens.
And I played for the
Right?
Sirens,
Yeah.
which just happened to be a thing. But I was super huge into mermaids, even when I didn't know what rugby was. Mermaids are Bigfoot. Bigfoot's my man right
I
here.
like Bigfoot too. So what do you got, Kelsey?
Orcas. Gotta
Orcas,
Be. Yeah.
orcas,
yeah.
yeah.
They're not
Can-
mythical.
They're not mythical. They're real.
Oh,
They're real.
shoot. Mythical.
You can do the Loch Ness
Oh, the
monster.
Una-orca.
You know, oh my God.
I made that up.
That's just
I was
not a
going
real
to say
thing.
the narwhal,
Well,
but
I was
that's
about
like
to
a
say,
real
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know any. I'm
Do the
just
Loch
gonna-
Ness monster. Nobody took Loch Ness monster yet.
Did you say one? Did she get one?
Oh yeah.
Oh shoot. I just think centaur I think would be
Okay.
cool
Nice.
to be like
half man,
horse.
half horse. You
yeah.
know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, that's
Horse,
good.
horse,
Horf?
half man,
Horf?
half horse.
Good job,
Horse.
Jeff.
Dude, Jeff was waiting for someone to say centaur. He was waiting. Look at that smile on that guy's face. He's like, oh, half horse, half horse, half horse. No, Jeff, no.
Horse.
I would just say unicorns. I
Nice.
don't know.
Nice.
I guess,
Unicorns.
Yeah.
But there's all kind of cool mythical things though. What about
Yeah.
the what is it, the half lion, half eagle or something?
Chimera.
Griffin.
Griffin. Yeah.
Perfect,
The
yeah,
Griffin.
that's
We
a
had
good
that
one.
one on the last one. Didn't the guy
No, we
say-
had the chimera.
Chimera,
We had
that's one.
no. We didn't. No one said Griffin.
No. What was the dog?
The dog, Cerberus.
Oh,
so the
Cerberus.
three-headed
Oh,
dog that
wow.
guards
Oh,
the
yeah,
gates
yeah,
of
yeah.
hell.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that was
That's a lot.
their one of their mascots. It was like
Yeah.
named
Oh, that's
Bruce.
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, Bruce
That's
the
a scary
Cerberus.
fucking.
Right? Yeah. No, it's super scary.
What does that
Right.
say about that? Like,
It's like like each head has a meaning. If you go back and listen to the
I think
podcast,
it was like past, present, future.
yeah,
Yeah,
something
that's what
like
he said.
look at
Not
you
as
paid
scary as
attention.
otters.
I
Otters
like
are
that.
super scary, right?
Otters?
We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
we don't talk about otters.
Oh, okay.
If you want to learn, no, otters are the sexual deviants of the animal kingdom.
uh huh.
No, yeah, they're really actually very terrible. They look cute, but they're horrifying.
Frightening.
So are dolphins.
Wow.
They
Dolphins rape
kidnap
people.
their
Did you know that?
kids.
Yeah,
No.
so do
Go
otters.
swimming with a dolphin.
So do
They
otters.
rape
Dolphin.
people?
Dolphins.
That's
Dolphins?
weird. Do they
Yeah.
come into your house or what?
No, they rape you in the water. Like if
Oh,
you're
fuck
swimming
that.
with
That's
them.
why I don't get in the
Guess
water.
who's not getting in the
No,
water?
I'm like, you think they're out there walking into your house?
I don't
going
know.
up
You
your
said they
stairs?
rape people. I was
No,
like,
they
how do
rape
they
them.
do that?
Like
Do they
when
wait?
like people be like, oh yeah, let's go swim with the dolphins. Kelsey, come on, let's go swim with the dolphins. And then you get in
No.
that water. Pop, pop.
I know it's all fun and games
They
till the
get you.
dolphin gets on you and starts. Get him off me! Get him off me!
They're not laughing.
Going back, this is the last.
You're not laughing. You're dead serious. Like, fuck dolphins, dude. Okay, hold on. What's your scariest animal? Obviously, dolphins. What are you
No, it's not
Oh,
dolphins.
I have an extreme, like, real life phobia of crabs, lobsters, crayfish, horseshoe crabs.
Oh,
I
the
don't
bugs
fuck with
of the
them.
ocean,
I
right?
don't
No,
look
I'm
at them.
with you.
I don't get near them.
Just
Like,
don't, you
creepy
don't
looking?
eat them? Are you a lobster
if
person?
their meat is completely, the shell's completely out of the way and the meat is just in something else, I'll eat them. Yeah, they taste good, but ooh, if I see
Wow.
one, I'm like,
Is it just like the
Live or
buggy
dead,
vibe
Quinn?
on them, like spider vibe sort of thing, or is it because they're
it's like
creepy?
a phobia.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like a
creepy
real,
as hell. So I
yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Like my brother's 30 and I'm 29, and he still will like find a crab at the ocean and like chase me around.
Like
and
a
I
good
swear-
brother should.
And I'll scream. I'll be like, I'm gonna fucking tackle you. Like I'm gonna break your elbow. Like don't come at me with that. Like yeah, it's awful. Grown woman yelling on the beach.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
get
hate
it.
all bug water
You threatened
animals.
to break his elbow? That's
did. He had his right elbow was broken, and I was like, if you come, I'm gonna break your other elbow. If you come, and this was this was 2 weeks ago at the beach, like
That's
real
serious
story.
fear. That's
Yeah.
serious fear. That's funny. I mean, sorry for your traumatic experience, but it's also very funny.
That makes me super happy. I'll break your fucking other knee, dick.
So, Melody, what were you talking about? The scariest one for you was?
Oh, mine's is lizards. I'm afraid of lizards.
Oh.
Not
Really?
Not what was the other one we were talking about that I was scared of?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Oh, dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah, no.
Texas.
Lizards.
That must have been hard, huh?
Lizards, yeah, it was. That's why I got the fear.
Fuck you. That's
Yeah.
why you hauled ass, right? You're like,
outta
I'm
there.
gonna go live with the dolphins. Fuck these lizards.
Monica, is there anything you're terrified of?
Like animals?
Yeah. Like animals or
anything.
like bugs or
Anything.
Yeah, whatever.
Say clowns.
Oh, dude, I'm
I don't
actually
think
scared
I'm
of clowns.
clowns. I
I'm
don't
not.
think
I don't
Good,
like
good
clowns.
on you.
I'm a clown guy and fucking hate
Oh,
them.
I loved it. Yeah.
Dude, I don't like people that paint their face
Money,
and
you
hide that
fearless?
shit, man.
No, I'm not fearless, but I don't know what I'm scared of.
That means
She's
fearless.
scared of ghosts.
Oh, she's
Hey,
fearless,
Money,
yeah.
did you have those scratches on your arm at first?
Yeah, I did. I just scratched my
Okay.
arm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
It's not the ghost.
If we're getting ghost scratches, we're ending this podcast. All right. I got one more
Scratch my
question.
arm.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Sorry I brought that up, man. Yeah. All right. Finally, one more question before we get out of here. And again, by the way, like seriously, you guys, thank you so much for being here. The Tacoma
was awesome.
Sirens.
Thanks for having us.
You can look them up right on the Facebook page. It's Tacoma Sirens Rugby.
Women's Rugby.
Women's Rugby on Facebook. TacomaRugby.com to get to the links to all of the information. Women, kids, men, everyone, like anyone. If you're interested in this, even marginally, go and check out a practice. Like these are people who are making a family and creating a fun environment, a competitive sports environment that'll be good for people of all ages.
Come watch too.
Yeah, just come and check it out. Just come and watch and support them in that way.
Because not everybody wants to play, right? Like I love to sport your shirts. I love to sport
Yeah.
the thing, and but I'm never ever gonna play rugby.
And
I'm never gonna.
Our
rugby, right?
fans, like, they have their own like group, and they will like after every game they kind of just line up on the sideline, and we will right after we're done doing our cheer, we go and we clap for them because they like have a
Nice.
tight knit little group on the sidelines too, and it's super awesome. Yeah.
All right, last question. How do you get into your opponent's head? You're talking about you were talking about all of the positivity, and you
Eye
help them out.
contact.
What do you
Strong eye contact.
do? Really?
If I'm running at you full force, making strong eye contact with
Just
you,
don't break the eyes.
just come get some, girl. That's what I do.
Nice.
Strong eye contact when I like a
That's funny. I think Justin
Intense-
flinched when you said,
Yeah.
"Come get some." Girl.
Yeah, I did. I was like, I
oh,
can handle this. Nope, gotta go. Gotta look somewhere else. So what else? How do you get into your opponent's head?
I like to stiff arm or truck people, which is
Yeah.
like when
Quinn
I'm
got a
running.
high step. Quinn, talk about your high
Oh
step.
yeah, I
Oh,
do. Yeah, like this little Fijian step, I like to call it, which is not. I do not look nearly as cool as the Fijians when they do it, but I try. And so I like to truck people, just kind of put my shoulder down and like bump them off me and keep
Oh,
running.
yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sticks into their heads too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, I just like to be a beast, like savage
Hell yeah.
mentality.
Do it.
Nice.
Money,
You're
that
so
is-
nice. You're all sweet.
I know,
You're
in
like,
the game is different.
savage.
I'm going to pray for you as I destroy you. Don't worry about this.
Pray for
She's
your
praying
soul.
for your soul. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Again, girls, thank you so much. We got Melody, Monica, and Kelsey on with this. Again, super responsive on Facebook. If anyone has any questions about what's going on, Amber will answer.
Yes.
Like, seriously, shout out to her on
Yeah.
helping out with that. Shout out to the entire team. Like, what you guys are doing, you're helping build community, and you're doing it in an ultimately positive way. And that's just what you need, and that's what we need around here. And so people should check you guys out. Find the practice. Go check out the practices. Go check out the games. Support them in any way you possibly can. And anything
Buy their
else?
gear.
Buy
I'm
their
sure you
gear.
got a place,
Yeah.
right?
So people can buy merch and
Yeah,
stuff.
we have a
Yes.
Squad Locker. I don't know if you guys have heard of squadlocker.com.
No, okay.
It's basically like an online store, and you can. So Amber, again, she's awesome. She created it, and it has our logo on like Under Armour t-shirts and bags and blankets,
Really?
sweatpants, shorts.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Scarves. It's Washington.
Scarves,
Oh
y'all.
yeah,
Yeah.
you get the
Hats.
scarves up for that. Yeah.
You
So-
like your scarves.
So jump on there, buy some
Yeah.
shit, support the club, right?
Totally.
Yes.
Awesome.
Something for everybody on our
Yeah.
squad locker.
I appreciate that. And seriously, like everyone listening right now, thank you so much for doing so. If you guys know anybody that does something strange or interesting, or maybe you see a Reddit post that we should get on with that, go to info@gritcitypodcast.com. If you want to help us out financially, you can do so at patreon.com/gritcitypodcast. If you got any questions, any problems, Scott, stop flipping off the camera. These poor people have to look at your finger all the time.
Oh, sorry.
You can do so just by following us on all social media. Again, all the links to everything that the Tacoma Sirens are doing are right on the description of this. Shout out to Becca for doing all of that for us.
Yeah, just touch the picture in whatever you're listening to, and all the show notes should be there, links,
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
Can I shout out to the person, whoever posted us on Reddit one more time?
Yeah, seriously.
shout out to
whoever did that.
It's like, yeah, you
Thank
should
you.
ask in your team who
Amazing.
did that, because it was somebody from, like, they're saying, hey, you should come out and see us. So it's
Oh, they said
Oh,
us?
that's
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
Shout
one of
out.
your team members,
Yes.
shout out to that.
Yeah.
Well, just the
That's
Tacoma
amazing.
Reddit in general.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you've never been there, that place is fantastic. I used to post our episodes.
I
but
do
then-
now.
Do you?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
don't go anymore because someone got mad. They're like, "Oh, you just post your episodes." I'm like, "Fine, fuck off. I won't post them anymore." Like, but
See, I interact a little bit more, so they're a
yeah,
little more
I don't.
caring.
I don't give a shit. But it's a great place, man.
That's
It's a
okay.
great place to go to find things that are going on, and there's just
Some of the good bars that
yeah.
you might not know about.
Dude, they post all kinds of cool ass pictures there of like over Tacoma, all those guys. So at least check it
Awesome.
out. And the
Yeah.
person that made
Yeah.
fun of me, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah,
And
if you're
then
listening out there, we hate you.
upvote us a lot. It's cool.
But and again, just get all the
The
inform-
rugby team's got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take that. Like I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
the rugby team, bitch.
Yeah.
Seriously, Melody, Monica, Kelsey, thank you so much for being on with us.
Yeah, this was awesome.
And
You guys
everyone-
were awesome.
Thank you guys.
And everyone,
you all.
thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Oh. All right, officially un-T-Rex.